riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. It's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Why I Hate This Album, the show where we pick an album or a song, listen to it for an entire week straight, and then come back here and tell you, the listener, if we hate it, and of course why or why not. I am one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey, with me as always, co-host extraordinaire, bright to my Gemini man, Timothy Richardson. Timothy, how you doing?
Bad, Garrett. Really, really bad.
Okay, you're being dramatic. We can't be that bad. What's the deal?
Garrett, I know you don't know this. I know our audience doesn't know this, but I turned 40, Garrett. I'm 40 years old, and I know that doesn't sound like a big deal to you, seeing as how you turned 40 20, 30 years ago, but to me, this is genuinely unsettling. I hear my bones are going to start to hurt even more now, and
yes.
Maybe the worst part, Garrett, not a single birthday wish from our audience. This fucking pack of jackals. Unless they did send some. We are recording this a little bit before my actual birthday, so it's possible that some of these filthy jackals came through and remembered their good buddy Tim.
I doubt it.
Right. If you're hearing this, listener, and you did not send me warm birthday wishes, just know this. It is now too late. You're dead to me.
You're in the book.
One good thing, though, Garrett, I did my yearly tradition. I made my favorite birthday butterscotch candies by combining Land O'Lakes with some of your Glenfiddich 30-year, and it was delicious.
Gross.
It's not.
So
it's
gross
really
and
not.
so
It's
drunk.
Good.
So drunk, so butterscotchy. Well, great. Just know, Tim, I will not remember. So you can curse me ahead of time for not remembering.
I remembered for you. I bought myself something quite nice on your credit card.
I really wish you'd stop doing that.
I really wish you'd remember my birthday.
I won't. I will not. Could I? Probably. Will I? Never. Never, ever. If I start remembering yours, I have to remember other people's, and if I do
That's not true. You can just remember mine. Well, you should remember it. It doesn't matter. I'll remind you on the day. I already bought myself your present to me. It's fine.
Do I have to watch you open it?
But the rest of you goddamn jackals, yes, you do.
It better be cool. I hope I didn't buy you something stupid.
I think it's
If it's magic beans again, I swear to God, I'm going to be furious. No. Stop having me buy you magic beans.
I put that
Stop buying magic beans.
I mixed those into the butter whiskey, and it was not that good.
Butter bean whiskey. It's my own formula. I can tell. Alrighty. Tim, what song have we been listening to for an entire week straight?
We have been listening to the brand new Will Smith single, Pretty Girls, and I am not sure how this fits into our satanic summer theme established last week, but I am willing to go with it.
And Tim, after an entire week with Willard Smith and his perplexing single, Pretty Girls, do you hate this song?
Oh my, yes, Garrett. Yes, I do. I am enraged. I am embarrassed on behalf of Mr. Smith and on behalf of myself. I am definitely not aroused. I might be the opposite of aroused.
Inverted.
No, not that. Not that opposite. Garrett, what about you? Do you hate this song? What's your arousal level, etc.?
I remain at virtually unaroused. Neutral state, I guess we'd call it.
Gotcha.
No, what? Ugh. Half. You just walk it. You know what? I don't want to know. Never mind. Do I hate it? No?
You're an idiot. We can stop doing the show right now.
No. Listen, am I going to get there? I don't see how I couldn't. But like, Tim, we might need a welfare check. Like, this is...
he's been taken prisoner by Scientologists and is trying to get his messages out with his sweaters. I get it, but I still hate it.
You think there's a magic eye message in that sweater? We'll get there.
I mean, I did... Listen, while watching this video, I did press my face quite close on the television. If you look really closely, you can actually see the greasy nose mark.
That's what that is.
I was so covered in butterscotch.
Please, God, stop. Okay, listen, I don't quite hate it. You know what? This might be a show first. I cannot go another moment more and say that I'm not. I just got there.
Yeah, you're there. Because of the TV, the ruining of the TV. I get it.
No, this song is terrible.
Yeah,
it's really bad.
It's kind of fun though. Like I enjoyed in a watching the British Office kind of way. I enjoyed this song and video. We'll get there.
It's the textbook definition of watching a car wreck.
Yes.
Just like, wonder how everyone's going to react to this.
I think I would have rather watched Willard Smith get in a car wreck.
Yeah, I know he would have. God. Oh, God. All right. We'll get there. Before we continue further, I am curious, Tim. Obviously, we've discussed Willard on the show before, but maybe we can zero in on a brief reminder of your history with Willard's music and specifically this song, if you have any at all.
Kind of some brief listenings to his music. I am familiar with the hits, the Wiki Wiki Wild Wild West, the Men in Black, the Men in Black 2 song.
There's a Men in Black 2 song?
Oh yeah, we'll get to it.
Will we?
Getting Jiggy with It, I know about that one.
Mm-hmm.
I know, the songs we listened to for this show, that Freddy Krueger song. It's definitely legally not a Freddy Krueger song, but I have no history whatsoever with this song, other than the many, many people asking us to do it, including Nathaniel Elliott. Now that I'm reading that, I think it's Nathan Elliott's art. And also somebody named Cherie Zampino.
Oh, wow. How timely.
Well, it just came out. What about you, Garrett? Have you been listening to this? Do you have experience with pretty girls?
I do. I do have experience with pretty girls. Do I have experience with this song? Not so much.
I would argue Will Smith doesn't have experience with pretty girls. We'll get there.
We'll get there. Obviously, I know the Will Smith hits, as Tim just walked through them. Pretty much identical on my side. I was a huge Will Smith fan when The Fresh Prince was a show.
The Fresh Prince, that's right.
When he made the crossover into movies, I was stoked. Independence Day, classic. And then he, somewhere around Ali started to lose me a little bit. But in any event, I was a huge Will Smith fan. And just this is... Listen, I hadn't heard this. It came out probably 2 weeks ago. And the internet, as well as our listeners apparently, demanded that the show address it. And I'm glad we did. I'm glad we didn't let it grow stale on the vine. This needs to be discussed. That's your history. That's my history. That is to say, we have average history. Before we can talk about this abomination of a song so bad, I got there in the first 10 seconds of the show, we need to learn a little bit about the man who made it, or at least the making of the song. So Tim, take us on a journey? I mean, help me understand. I don't know what you're going to do. What's the history here? What did you prepare for us this week about Willard Smith?
Well, to start off with, we of course need to address the elephant in the room. Previously, we did of course have a lot of confusion, the both of us, about him in our Prepisodes number 14 and 51. Neither of us at the time knew that this was the same guy that was the actor and also the rapist. I think you were especially confused on that point.
No, I believe only you were.
We should just say up top, this is, of course, the Will Smith of acting fame. It is the Will Smith of rapping fame. This is the same guy. There's no reason for either of us, especially Garrett, to be confused about that this week. Now, Willard Carroll Smith II was born a heterosexual baby in 1968 in Philadelphia, true to his word in that song about being born. His dad was an Air Force veteran and a refrigeration engineer. I'm not sure exactly what that means. I think it could range from being some sort of cold scientist to an ice cream man, a repairman of refrigerators, or possibly some sort of second-tier Batman villain that nevertheless evoked a certain pathos when not being portrayed by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Gotta keep those bombs cold, Tim.
Yes. Williard was raised as a Baptist and went to a Catholic school, both strong heterosexual religions. He began rapping at the age of 12. His parents separated when he was 13, and right after that, Garrett, his grandmama found a notebook of his lyrics containing, and I'm quoting here, all his little curse words, and she wrote him a note which kept him from using profanity in music all the way up until he was 56 years old, not a goddamn second longer. She wrote, "Dear Williard, truly intelligent people do not have to use words like this to express themselves. Please show the world that you're as smart as we think you are."
Passive-aggressive nonsense.
Yeah. He did not apply to or get into or turn down a scholarship to MIT, which has been widely reported by the fake news media. He did once say, "My mother, who worked for the School Board of Philadelphia, had a friend who was the admissions officer at MIT. I had a pretty high SAT score, and they needed black kids, so I probably could have gotten in, but I had no intention of going to college." So stop writing in and saying that this guy turned down MIT. He didn't. We'll get into the movies he turned down later, but it wasn't MIT. Now,
No, he's not actually really smart, thus as proven this week.
yes, as we all know, Williard and his buddy slash producer slash turntablist, DJ Jazzy Jeff, met in 1985 when Jazzy was performing at a house party and his hype man didn't show up. So Williard filled in and they decided to collaborate, form a trio with Reddy Roxy as their beatboxist. They released Girls Ain't Nothing But Trouble, a noted heterosexual anthem about hanging with the fellas in 1986, which became a hit right when Williard was graduating from high school. Now, because
An anthem about how women just simply aren't worth the trouble.
right, just hang out with your buddies. Just,
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Stick with the fellas.
There's nothing that ladies can do for you that a good friend can't, is the point of that song.
What are you going to do with your
not
special gal that you can't do with the six of us?
Not a goddamn thing. I'm Will Smith.
I don't know what I was thinking.
Now, because that became a hit, they ended up getting a record deal with Jive Records and Russell Simmons. They released Rock the House in 1987. They released the platinum-selling He's the DJ, I'm the Rapper in 88, and In This Corner in 1989. He was also arrested for assaulting his record promoter at a radio station in 1989, right after he won a Grammy, but the charges were dropped. Apparently, he left somebody almost blind. Unclear what that means exactly. After the charges were dropped, he made a personal vow that this would be the last time he ever struck anyone in anger.
It's little known fact, Willard Smith walks around with a tiny vial of acid.
Oh, God.
If you fight him, he will blind you.
Oh, God.
Well, Gino's handing me a correction. It is not a tiny vial of acid. It is a tiny vial of glitter.
Interesting.
Equally as blinding.
Yes, and equally as heterosexual. Unfortunately, Williard spent quite a bit of money during this time. Even more unfortunately, he spent it on things that were not his income taxes, so the IRS demanded he pay them $2.8 million, which he did not have. So they took a bunch of his stuff to put in their Philadelphia office lobby or whatever they do with it when they steal your things, and garnished his income.
What do they do with that shit? I guess they auction it off.
Probably, yeah. I like to think, though, that all of Wesley Snipes' memorabilia from his movies are just in some IRS guy's house.
The director of the IRS is walking around in those stupid wraparound sunglasses and a leather duster and fake teeth.
Ah, that's excellent.
I wonder if they fucking clean these things. Doesn't taste like it. I'm fucking bleed, sweetie. Yes, you bleed, Harold. No, I'm fucking bleed. I got to go there and drink it. Take your fucking teeth out. I can't understand a goddamn word you're saying with those. I'll fucking crossbow you, Sharon.
All right. Garrett, enough of that foolishness. Luckily for Williard, NBC came a-calling with an idea for The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in 1990, which was obviously incredibly successful. And he decided,
demanded?
Yes, he decided to become the world's biggest movie star. He started achieving that goal in 1995 with Bad Boys, followed by Independence Day in 1996, Men in Black in 97. The last one is, of course, particularly notable as he recorded the theme song for the film as the start of his solo music career and released the collection of noted heterosexual anthems, Big Willie Style, that sold 9 million copies in the US alone, but was, and this is true, mediocre at best. But it is, Garrett, it is non-nupple platinum, and Getting Jiggy With It became his first Billboard Hot 100 single from that album.
Jesus Christ. Which, I mean, you go back and you listen to it, it was always pop music, right? It was less rap. It's more pop.
It's always been considered pop rap or pop hip-hop or whatever. He was also married to Cherie Zampino for a few years in here, which resulted in Williard's favorite son, Willard Carroll Trey Smith III. And then he married his one true beard, allegedly, Jada Corin Pickett Smith in 1997, with whom he had his second favorite son and third favorite child, Jaden, and his favorite daughter, Willow. In 1998, he was in Enemy of the State with the recently horribly deceased Gene Hackman, a movie I remember genuinely enjoying. I really hope it holds up. I believe it secretly to be a sequel to The Conversation. Then he was...
Just rewatched that movie. It definitely feels like the late 90s, early aughts, but...
Oh, sorry, Enemy of the State. I thought you were talking about The Conversation. It does not feel like the 90s.
No. Oh, you know what's fun about Enemy of the State, though, is it's like every single person that was about to pop but never did. So you get like Barry Pepper, Jake Busey, Jack Black, Seth Green's in there.
Yeah, who's the handsome guy that's super short? He's the son of that actor. Scott Caan's in it. Remember Scott Caan? He's got super tall hair.
Just move on.
All right. He was then offered the role of Neo in The Matrix, which he turned down
Famously.
because he did not get it and decided he would rather be a sexy cowboy in Wiki Wiki Wild Wild West in 1999. He, of course, released a theme song for that and another album, Millennium. I think it would be very funny if he had been in The Matrix and he had recorded a Wiki Wiki Wild Wild West-esque rap and been like, so where's this going in the movie?
Agent Smith, I'm gonna bust you down. We're gonna come on down to the LA ground.
We're gonna cast you as both
go in a different direction,
Neo
Will.
and Agent Smith and maybe Morpheus.
Neo, Morpheus, and the rest. Check out my duster and my wicked leather vest. Wrap around glasses and we're talking on phones. Now I know Kung Fu. Yeah, I gotta stop.
You do. The Matrix thing would, of course, be the beginning of a proud tradition of turning down roles he really should have taken because Williard, and this is true, has incredibly poor judgment. A non-exhaustive list of films that he turned down: The Matrix, Superman Returns, Inception, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Independence Day 2, the good one, Shaft, The Accountant, Triple Frontier, Batman Forever, where he was supposed to play Robin to, I guess, Val Kilmer's Batman. K-Pax.
Really?
Yeah. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Okay.
Man on Fire, Hotel Rwanda, several others. Like, it's literally a list of the biggest, well, I don't know. It's insane. What he did, he didn't get movies.
Thank God he didn't do Man on Fire.
Yeah. What's the other one that Jamie Foxx took? Django Unchained. There's another one.
Oh, right. Yeah. He was just like, wait, so I'm like dressed up like a little Lord Fauntleroy and I'm not really like cool?
Yeah.
Like, no, that's what makes it cool. Sorry. I guess he would be talking to Quentin Tarantino. No, man, you see, like, that's what makes you cool is that, like, you look like a fucking dork. Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, that's fair. He was nominated for an Oscar for his role in Ali in 2001, released Born to Reign in 2002. That was only certified gold, so his music career is already kind of tanking here, but it did contain the theme to Men in Black 2, Black Suits Coming, Nod Your Head. Now you recognize it, don't you?
I'm not familiar with that.
Oh, all right. We'll watch Men in Black 2 after 1998's Godzilla.
Black Suits Coming, Nod Your Head. It's no deepest bluest. My hat is like a Sharks fan.
No, it's not. Willard was in Bad Boys 2 in 2003, then The Excellent I, Robot in 2004, Shark Tale, and he released what was going to be his last ever album, Lost and Found, in 2005. He got another Oscar nomination for The Pursuit of Happiness, spelled an homage to Merciful Fate. That was in 2006 and featured his awful son, Jaden. He was in I Am Legend in 2007, a movie that Garrett P. Harvey and I went to see in IMAX together, specifically to see the first 5 minutes of The Dark Knight. That book is great. That movie, the ending, needs some work.
Yeah, they should have they shot the real ending. I know. And they chickened out.
It's apparently
allegedly they're doing a sequel.
Yeah, with Michael B. Jordan, I believe.
Oh, I like him.
Yeah. He was in Hancock, then Men in Black 3, then After Earth with his awful son, Jaden. Willard and Jada separated in 2016, although they remain married. The two had some unconventional sexual habits, with a series of affairs allegedly, admittedly, but allegedly, on both sides. Williard once said he tried to have a polyamorous relationship with somebody named Halle Berry and Misty Copeland, but he abandoned the idea after therapy, allegedly.
Right. I'm sure Halle Berry would be completely okay with that.
Well, again, we don't know if it's the Halle Berry. I suspect he was just calling somebody Halle Berry.
I see. Now I understand my confusion.
Yes.
Or potentially just a coincidence. There might have been and we're just guessing here, a gentleman named Halle Berry.
Yeah, a burly
we're confusing
trucker.
it.
He starred as a heterosexual con artist with Margot Robbie in the film Focus in 2015, then Concussion, then Suicide Squad in 2016. So he's still a pretty big box office draw, even though the quality seems to be going down a bit. Speaking of low quality, probably, he was in Bright on Netflix in 2017. He released a single with Jazzy in 2017 that was pretty popular, then performed at the 2018 World Cup in Moscow. He recorded some singles and then starred in his highest grossing film ever, Aladdin, in 2019. Then was in the movie that really should have been better, Gemini Man, in 2019. In 2020, he was in Bad Boys 3, Bad Boys for Life. I don't know why they didn't save that for the next one.
So confusing.
He released a memoir called Will, which was mostly written by somebody else. He starred in King Richard, for which he finally won that Oscar he was chasing. Now, unfortunately, Garrett, just before he won the Oscar, and I mean minutes before, he got too into the act, I guess. As a heterosexual man defending his wife's honor, he slapped the absolute shit out of Christopher P. Rock for saying his wife looked good with a shaved head.
Yeah, still remains unclear exactly what the insult was.
Yeah. Rock declined to press charges. I don't know what the current state of his vision is, although I've seen Chris Rock fairly frequently, and this is alleged. I'm surprised a cheek implant didn't somehow fly out of his face.
He looks like a ventriloquist dummy come to life.
Yeah, he does. Willard has definitely learned his lesson, though. I spent the entire pre-show interview trying to get him to strike me, and he just would not do it, Garrett. I said horrible things to him, Garrett. Horrible. The guy has become unflappable.
Did you talk about his wife?
Oh, no, because I mean, she wasn't there, so he doesn't have to pretend, you know?
Sure. Seems like you didn't really want to get slapped.
In 2023, he was in Bad Boys 4, Ride or Die. It's poorly named. Then he decided music was a good idea again. He released his 5th solo album based on a true story with collabos from K-Way's Sunday Service Choir, Jazzy, Big Sean, and his awful son, Jaden. Even more recently, he released the non-album single of the week, Pretty Girls, and that brings us pretty much up to today, La Face.
I cannot believe you listed all of his movie credits. I hate you.
I didn't list all of them. I have a few that I didn't, if you'd like to hear them.
I don't want you to talk about it anymore. Great history, Tim. That is to say, it's over.
And all alleged. All alleged. I don't know why I let Garrett Harvey read all of those slanderous lies.
Anyway, Tim, before we go any further, let's give everyone a taste of this truly, truly astonishing piece of art known as Pretty Girls.
I love pretty girls. I like pretty
Not great.
girls.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we can say this. Musically, this is pretty on par with some of his earlier stuff, right? It's fine. The part that he didn't do is fine, I guess. Both the song and the video, we'll get there, appear to be a fairly direct ripoff of a Sean Kingston song, Beautiful Girl. The internet's pretty angry about that. Well, some corners of it are. The internet also thinks that this sounds much better at either 0.5 or 1.25 speed. And they're right, Garrett. I did both of those things. This thing, I mean, it shits 30% more in terms of both volume and velocity at either a higher or lower speed. Now, it's still bad, but, you know, you can kind of get, like, I could dance to it at 1.25. That's the thing.
I see. Okay. I'm going to try to say as many nice things as I can before this all goes south. As you said, musically, you know, it's fine. It's a pop song. That doesn't really matter. And in fact, I'll even say this. Musically and lyrically, this song is well set up for being remixed to holy hell.
Okay.
So,
let's not compliment the lyrics just yet, because...
I'm not complimenting them. To be real clear, I'm just saying that as bad as these lyrics are, this song is still well positioned to be remixed into like 5 different versions that will get played constantly.
Sure, I'll go with that.
It's a weird song for such a straightforward concept, and we'll get into the lyrics in just a moment, folks, but like as we go through it, I will point out like just what an odd choice of like things to talk about to express your interest in Pretty Girls.
Right. It's almost as if he has no interest, but he would like you to think he did, but he doesn't even, at this point in his life, he is so far removed from that being on his mind that he cannot even imagine what terminology, what verbiage he should use. Garrett, this is, and listen, I don't use this as a pejorative, it's gayer than David Bowie and Nicholas Jagger's Dancing in the Streets.
I don't know about that.
I'm going to throw that out there. Garrett, this feels like a song that would have been used in a movie like Demolition Man as shorthand for future music is terrible.
Yeah, that's true.
It feels like a song parody that would be playing over the credits of a movie where he was like a washed up Will Smith-esque actor. actor. This feels like Scientologist propaganda. It is Corey Feldman level trash.
Oh, I think Corey's better. At least it's original.
It is original. Yeah, that's fair.
He's doing his own thing,
yeah, but
except when he aggressively rips off Michael Jackson.
Yes, but like the level of ultimate quality, I think, is very similar.
You hit on something with the parody line. It feels like you're watching a movie about like that dreadful Entourage show, and the agent is trying to handle crises with his clients, and they're like, there's a lot of rumors out there about Will Smith. Haha, don't worry, we solved that. Check out this song. I like pretty girls. It's like, I don't think that's going to do what you think it's going to do.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it feels like maybe Chris Rock made him release this in lieu of a crippling lawsuit.
That would be amazing.
It kind of feels like it was made by AI at points. And
it's made by somebody's peepaw. It's a almost grandpa level man.
56-year-old man. I mean, well, you say almost grandpa level. I don't know what Jaden's plans are, but
I'm just saying, once you get into your 60s, it's not unreasonable to expect to have grandchildren. And this
sure, but that kid's bringing home like raccoons and stuff and dressing them as Superman, leaving them on your pillow. It's not
sure.
cool.
Like, God damn it, he's
He's
just the worst.
Yeah. It also feels like there's just about to be some sort of Diddy Daddy freak off video coming out in which, and again, this is alleged, or not even alleged, I'm just saying this is sort of the vibe I'm getting, in which Williard definitely does not like girls, pretty or otherwise, and he's just kind of trying to get out ahead of that.
Oh, God, I see what you're doing. Yeah, a little early damage control.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very similar to what I was thinking. It's, God, it's just so on the nose and poorly written and weird and made so much weirder by the music video.
Yeah, we'll get to the music video because Jesus Christ.
Let's get into this thing. It opens with the chorus performed by Smith and a gentleman from Dominica named Obanga. Don't know this guy. Feel bad for him. This is a tough way to be exposed to the U.S. audience, but in any event, Will begins.
I think he's going to come out of this smelling like roses. I think that when people, as you say, when this gets remixed, I think they're going to bump up the Obanga, pull back the Williard Smith, and I think this might actually work for him.
Okay, fair. Song begins, I like pretty girls. I love pretty girls. I like pretty girls. Girls, 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 girls. I love pretty girls, 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 girls. Tim, it would seem, Will likes pretty girls.
Yes.
But I'll ask this question.
Does he?
Does he? Yikes.
I'm just picturing him like the alternate line readings of him pulling open that spaceship and instead of shouting welcome to Earth, just shouting I like pretty girls and punching an alien in the head. You don't know.
Somebody make that. Listen, it's the obvious joke to make, but it is also something we can't ignore. It's so crazy that anyone would make this the chorus, especially somebody where there's the types of rumors that have gone around for a while that he's trying to shake. This is not how you do it.
No. But we should also say that, like, I enjoy some of Willard Smith's music, but it's always been so corny. Right?
Yeah.
Like, this is
a Will Smith song.
Yeah, had he made this at 20, you would have been like, well, that's kind of embarrassing. I'm glad he had a career after that, you know? Or not even that. Like, that's just kind of embarrassing. It's a very throwaway song. Like, some producer talked him into that, and he really shouldn't have done it. But, you know, whatever. He's 20, and he's got that jiggy with it and that wiki wild wild west. Now, unfortunately, he is, as previously stated, a 56-year-old man. He has a fucking Oscar. He's got Grammys. I mean, his movies have made more than $10 billion worldwide. Like, this is not a man who should be hurting for money. This is a man who can choose what projects he wants. This is a man who turned down The Matrix. He turned down The Matrix. He turned down Django Unchained. And he was like, yeah, no, but pretty girls. Like, listen, I missed out on the zeitgeist back in 99 and 2012. I'm not missing out on 2025. I'm putting out I like pretty girls so that people don't make fun of me when Justin Bieber puts this out.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't want want to get Keanu'd on this one, too. Fucking
I don't want to get Keanu'd. I like that. No, I think you're 100% right. It's poor Sean Connery all over again. He was offered Morpheus and was offered that wizard in Lord of the Rings, and he was just like, I don't understand it.
I think that he probably would have ended up being Morpheus if Will Smith had been this part, because I think they wanted specifically to do one of them being black and one of them being white.
Oh, interesting.
So I think
in any event,
yeah,
he turned it down.
Yeah, my point is, had he not, Lawrence Fishburne would not have been Morpheus.
I see. The one that he said yes to make sure he didn't miss out again, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
That movie is fucking horrible. It's somehow worse than Wild Hogs, an episode coming to this very show soon.
Next week?
Nope, not next week. We had a whole meeting about schedule. The title was schedule. You gave a presentation on the schedule. You proposed the schedule.
Verse 1 goes, you don't gotta wait in line tonight. You too fine for the line tonight. 5 plus 5, you a dime tonight. Let me stop there because there's a lot to say already. Garrett, the first 3 lines. Will Smith rhyming tonight with tonight with tonight. And listen, I know there's an internal rhyme with fine and line and kind of dime, but fuck this, Garrett. This is trash. This is trash writing. Also, is he saying that 2 5s, being the ladies, I of course would never refer to, that's the same as a 10.
Yeah, that was my first question, is he seems to be addressing 2 women at once and implying that he is more of a, let me get 2 5s as opposed to that 1 10.
Maybe this is that Halle Berry, Misty Copeland
I don't think so.
situation.
Halle Berry is gorgeous.
Right, again, but we don't know if it's that Halle Berry.
That's true.
Could be
That's true.
A male
For all
trucker.
we know, yeah, could be a redheaded Irishman from Ohio. Named Halle Berry.
Ah, yes. Either way, it sounds very demeaning to women. I don't remember who our new paragon of morality and femininity is.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, it's not important.
Let's say it's Scarlett Johansson.
No, because it's definitely not
you
her.
guys are still at it, huh? Okay, sorry. I thought things were patched up.
Yeah.
All right, forget I said it. Let's get back to this line. What's the line to, Tim? I assume it's the club, but it could be like some sort of weird Will Smith line outside his house or pool house.
I think this is how Will Smith thinks about himself, right? There are pretty
everybody's
ladies.
in line.
Well, no, there are pretty ladies waiting to get into the club. They're not pretty enough to get into the club, or they are, but they're just, there's a line, means fire hazard and whatnot. He believes himself to be of the quality to just whisk one of them into the club. You're with Will Smith, you can come in.
I agree, but like, what's the scenario here? Does he emerge from the club to pick his victuals, or does he arrive with some ladies and he's like, I know it's a couple of 5s, but that equals 10, and I'm Will Smith. Open the gate.
Could be that.
I think it's that.
But
I think
again,
it's that.
they're two.
I know. They're a little rough around the edges. Couple 1-2 street rats, if you know what I mean.
Couple of 1-2 men.
I know they're a couple of 5s. No. Maybe a lizard 5.
Ew.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a lot lizard 5, but that ain't an LA 5.
How tragic.
Yeah, just rolling up to the club with a couple of Lizzies, Halle Berry and Mark or whatever you said her name
Copeland,
was.
I believe.
Misty Copeland. This is Misty, and this is Halle. How you doing? I'm Misty. Anyway, the last line of that verse is, it's a full house, better play your cards right. So that does imply that there's going to be a bit of a quid pro quo situation, and if you don't play along, you could find yourself outside the club.
Oh, sure. It gets even more weirdly transactional after that, because the next line is, I'm a post your pic if you pose, make one phone call, you in Vogue. Right? Like, what he's saying here is, I will call and get you into Vogue. Please tell everyone we had sex and that I was super into it and I did not refer to you as Michael the whole time. And this is true, love pretty girls.
I love pretty girls.
So, God, the delivery angers me.
It's all so silly. Heads, shoulders, knees, toes. Hold up, wait, pose.
56-year-old man. An Oscar-winning 56-year-old man.
Kids Bop is less fucking childish than this. This is tough.
Yeah.
I'm about to do some investing. I spend it on you and your bestie. You and your twin on a jet ski. I'll change your life if you let me.
Ugh.
Lots in here. So we've confirmed there's 2 of them there. Willard's picked up a couple 1, 2, 5s, couple 5 spots, who's on the 5? Jefferson? No. Benjamin?
Lincoln. No. Yes.
Lincoln. No,
yeah.
He's on the penny and the $5 bill?
I believe so. I don't know. I have not seen cash in years.
I literally wouldn't understand. Canadian cash, sure, but not American currency. Goodness. Filthy.
I think it's like purple now.
No. Listeners, write in. What does money look like?
Listeners, send in cash. We'll evaluate it on the show.
How have we never thought of that before? Send us cash. Okay, anyway, back to this song. So he's got a couple 1, 2, 5s that he's planning on investing in. Direct payment or favors, unclear. I'll spend it on you and your bestie, so it's definitely 2 people. You and your twin on a jet ski. I'll change your life if you let me. I think this is a couple ladies that he has invested in to frame some pictures and experiences that he's had recently, should anyone ask what he's been up to.
Right. Yes, I think that's absolutely. They are, we'll say, his crime beard, right? They're his alibi, right?
Alibi?
Yeah. We'll take a bunch of pictures on this jet ski. Then you can ride around on the jet ski all day. In fact, do ride around it all day. Do not leave the property all day. I'll be back at 5.
Wait, what's he doing while they're on that jet ski?
Idea, Garrett. That's his business.
I don't think it's illegal. I just don't think he wants anyone to know about it.
I don't know. I saw that Gemini Man film, Garrett. It's possible that he has a younger version of himself that is some sort of assassin, but is also the son of, I don't know, the trainer guy.
I never saw that movie. I assumed he just had like a little version of himself he kept in a trunk.
You never saw that movie?
Gemini Man? Of course not.
We're going to watch that movie tonight.
Damn it.
We've got 2 movies now. I don't remember which Bad Boys it was, or if it even was a Bad Boy. We're watching all of the Bad Boys movies, then Gemini Man, then 1998's Godzilla.
I'm excited for 2 of those movies.
Is it Gemini Man and 1998's Godzilla?
It is. No, it isn't. It isn't. It's 2 of the Bad Boyses. God, that 3rd one's not great.
I like pretty girls. I love pretty girls.
Yes, as Tim is intimating, we get that super normal chill chorus from earlier that isn't weird at all before the next verse that just keeps getting more and more uncomfortable.
Yes.
All the pretty girls, put your drink up. I'll get you anything you can think of. I like BBLs. That stands for Bad Bitches Link Up. Yeah. Hopping in the club all night in the section. In the section? Will, we need a better word than in the section.
In the VIP section. It makes sense.
In the section. Picture perfect. I swear you're perfection. Okay, I'll get you anything you can think of. I assume that's just drinks, although it does kind of seem like he's recruiting a ragtag team of bearded women.
Perhaps he has a bunch of fellas that he hangs out with, and he's gathered these ladies together, right? And then the fellas, they're going to have sex with these ladies. And then so everyone at the end of the night will be like, man, we had so much sex with women. And then they'll tell everyone about all the sex they had with women, and Will Smith was there. And so everyone will just make the assumption that he also had sex with the women. You see, it's
because for all we know, he did.
Yeah. And all of the friends are just like, wow, we had sex with Will and his entourage. And then, they'd never, because, they're
no
talking.
One's going to ask, wait, who had sex with Will?
Right, because everyone's secretly pretending it was them, or, intimating that it was them. I get it.
Right. Yep. I've
hung out with Will Smith before. I can understand what's happening. Picture perfect, I swear you perfection. I like you, and you. It don't matter about your complexion. What does that mean? Is he saying he doesn't care about skin color?
I think all races welcome.
Okay. Fair enough. There's not a lot of women not pretty to me. Huh? I mean, she pretty to me. And I ain't talking about just the pretty you see, but the pretty you be. Now, that is, let's take this on its face value. If he does in fact like pretty girls, that is maybe the creepiest line I've ever heard, right? Listen, you're pretty, and I know, you're pretty in places I can't even see yet, but I'm gonna. But again, the way it comes off, right? So first of all, notably, he never once mentions a bald woman or a woman with a shaved head, which is fine. That's fine. But this every woman is pretty to me comes off like somebody asks him specifically, like, hey, Will, you you've been in Hollywood for a while. I'm sure you've been with a lot of ladies. What do you find attractive in a lady? And then he panics and he's like, everything. I like all the things. The heads.
Elbows.
The heads, yeah. I like when they have the heads and shoulders and knees and toes,
yeah.
I like what women have that we're all super into. That's the
all
ticket.
the parts.
Right, the body parts. I like the
legs and the thorax.
Yeah. I like the extra 2 sets of legs that women have on their thorax to keep you in position when you mate with them.
They're
Okay, we're bleeping that. Jesus Christ. I'm not even sure what you meant by that, but I'm out.
You know what I meant.
We're also bleeping that. Jesus. So upset.
I'm so grossed out by your words.
Yeah, right. Anyway, so yeah, he's panicking and he's shouting. I like the complexion of women and the stuff you can't even see. I'm sure that she's got some under those clothes. She's got some stuff I'm into. As we all are. The
gallbladder.
Head. Yeah, I really like a woman like powerful shoulders.
Yeah, like muscular sailor's hands.
Yeah, I want them rough.
Have you ever seen gladiator films?
Are you talking about the gladiator movies or like American gladiators?
Either one.
Okay.
That's how I like my ladies. Tan and toit. Song continues, vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, lemon. All right, fuck it. I like women.
There it is, truth about me. Now, again, he has gone very specifically his entire career without cursing in music.
This was the moment.
Yeah, when he really wants to be emphatic, the one thing of his entire career, the one thing he wants you to remember, I gotta punctuate this, the one thing about Williard, I like women.
I don't live a secret life that I am tenuously hiding from the rest of society. I'm a super normal chill dude.
Allegedly.
Well, no, I'm saying he doesn't have those things.
Oh, I'm also saying
I'm saying completely normal human being.
Right.
And that this is not a brazenly obvious cry for help.
Yeah.
Or for something else.
Jesus.
Ain't too many women ain't pretty to me. 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 As far as I can see, I like pretty girls. And that's the end of the song. Tim, does he like pretty girls?
Allegedly. He's pretty emphatic that he does in fact like pretty girls.
Yes.
But when asked what he likes about them, he said their head and knees. So
head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Oh, and also all that stuff that's like covered up. You know what it is. I've seen it before. I know what's under there, and you know what's under there. You just assume that what I'm suggesting is also what you know to be under there, because we both know what's under there.
All right, Tim, that brings us to the music video, and it is bad.
I kept thinking, like, in his blinks, or like the way he moves his head, or something in the dance, there's like some Morse code that's gonna just like spell out trapped or something, and I never figured out what it was, but I did report it. Like, I just assume there's a message in here. I don't know what the message is, but the police need to be at his house and they need to help him.
Yeah, something's going on here. No one would do this on purpose.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Let's get into it.
It starts off with the sort of therapy trope kind of thing, right?
Yep.
He is suffering from an addiction, Garrett, to what he euphemistically calls his pretty girls. And the therapist is just like, what? And he's just, I go there in my head every time. In fact, it's happening to me right now, which I assume means that he's telling his therapist he is in fact hard during therapy, if we were to take him at his word, which I do not.
Yeah. And listen, I believe him in a therapy scenario. Just instead of saying he's addicted to pretty girls, he should have been a little more honest and or at least focused on the more urgent need of how he's a terrible parent in a loveless marriage, not attracted to the people he claims he is.
Allegedly, to all of these things, he might be a great parent. I mean, Tom Hanks has that chet. He might, he might have done everything he could for Jaden, and Jaden just said, "No, thank you. I'm Batman," but like a white version.
Also, but not what you're thinking of. Yeah, sometimes they're just bad eggs.
Yeah.
So then we cut to an empty white room. A very tiny Will Smith is wearing, the ugliest crocheted yarn sport coat / Caribbean-inspired cardigan known to man.
I mean, it is a Cosby sweater, right? And Here's
it's terrible.
the problem. If you are going to have a song about liking girls, if there's one person in recent memory that liked girls incorrectly, Mr. Cosby is that man.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got tiny Will Smith, and then in walk giant, beautiful women. All four of them pose in front of him, and then they start like dancing and posing as Will's singing about how much he loves pretty girls.
Yeah.
Then one of the giant women picks up Will, and he dances in their hand and on their hat.
It's possible that perhaps what he is into is he wants to make love to a giantess. Perhaps he is afflicted by some sort of macrophilia.
Yes.
That would explain
There's a lot
actually.
of people out there that really like big women.
Oh, well, no, I'm not saying. I'm talking like a 60 foot tall kind of.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, like a
Listeners,
little
right in.
giantess, somebody that could pick him up and hold him in his hand. And if she so wanted to, she could squeeze him to death just with her hand. That's what he's into. He likes to feel vulnerable in that way, I think.
That seems very difficult to in real life. Because there's not giants, you see.
Well, right. That's why he is so dissatisfied with his personal life.
Well, I'm legitimately curious because you're not the first person to say this. Like, there are people out there that are super into like giant women.
Yeah, no,
like,
that is to say there used to be giants. The Nephilim.
Oh, no, what? No one said that.
I'm saying.
Don't say the Bible. It does, though. What a stupid thing. No, don't get us off topic. Like, I'm legitimately curious. hatePodMail@gmail.com. If you are into this, you can, make it anonymous if you want, but like, how do you satisfy that desire? Like, I guess you could like have somebody wrap you up tight in a blanket, like you're getting squeezed.
I guess. If you're going to write in and tell us about this, mark it clearly for Garrett, please, because
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm super curious. Do you get like a giant paper mache hand?
Garrett is really looking for tips on how he finally can get that one thing he's always wanted, which is, of course, a giant woman to hold him in a single hand and possibly squeeze him to death.
But what a last final moment.
Right?
Right. Anyway, back to this and that weird giant people coming with giants. Anyway, so the giant women pick up Will. He dances around in their hands and on their hats like an old man. It's not even good dancing. It's really embarrassing. He dances and raps at the camera in front of the women for a little bit. We see where the cover of this single is taken from as Will makes glasses out of the hands of two women. He puts them together like they got two little circles there. Like he's looking through binoculars. Mm-hmm. Again, also it just feels uncomfortable.
Yeah, it feels like nobody had an idea, and then somebody was just like, here's a thing.
It's maybe that the whole thing is super innocent, almost to the level of like a Disney music video, minus the fact that he's saying I like pretty girls.
Yeah.
But like, it's not age appropriate. It's weird.
It's the problem that like, I think Patton Oswalt has a bit about this.
Yes.
Like, it's when you see I'm
going to cover that little muffin in goof juice.
Yeah, exactly. Like a movie that's playing on TV that definitely shouldn't be, and so they like ADR over it, horrifying, like way worse things because they sound innocent. That's what this whole music video feels like. It feels like something very lascivious is going on, but we're all pretending that it isn't. It feels like, and again, this is completely alleged on both accounts, the Bill Cosby's persona through the 80s and 90s, where you're just like, man, what a good guy.
Yeah, we're all goofing and having a good time, and the second the camera stopped rolling, keep dancing, god damn it.
Yeah, but it's like knowing this music, and again, I'm not saying I know anything. I certainly don't. I don't think anything untoward is happening here, but what it feels like is going back and watching the Cosby Show now and being like,
God.
Yeah, now I know some things. And that's basically the entire music video. It ends with him dancing on the therapist's desk, and I kind of enjoyed this, right? This feels like...
Oh, I legitimately laughed when that happened.
Yeah, it feels like the scene from Wolf of Wall Street where it shows him driving really well, even though he's on a lot of Quaaludes, and then it switches to reality, and it's just fucking like driving the Ferrari along a fence, just tearing the shit out of it.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Like let's see, did we miss anything? Will very poorly dances with all his backup dancers. There's really, really awful choreography.
The size is very inconsistent as well. That bothers me.
There's also a recreation of your favorite film, Gemini Man, where two Wills sing at each other for no apparent reason.
I did like that.
It's like some of the early 90s and late 80s music videos we've talked about on the show where like the camera came with 6 preloaded effects.
Yeah.
And they were just like, we'll just work them in. We'll just like, now there's 2 Wills. Now you're tiny. Now you're dancing on a shoe. It's like, guys, this is not cool to anybody.
Yeah.
It's all very like Nickelodeon music video for kids, but whatever. Let's see. As Tim mentioned at the very end, we cut back to the therapist's office and I had a legitimate laugh. You see Will Smith like dancing on the therapist's coffee table and the music's playing on his phone in the office.
Yeah, which again, to me, that says like, is this all a goof?
No, it isn't.
Okay, but that scene, it gives you a little glimmer of hope that maybe he's not completely insane, right?
Wouldn't it be amazing if like 10 years from now, he's having like some like Burt Reynolds style, like towards the end of Burt Reynolds' life, he just really didn't give a shit. He'd tell you exactly what he was thinking. Like towards the end, like 10 years from now, Will Smith's like, I just never thought anyone wouldn't get that the whole thing was crazy ironic. Of course I don't love pretty girls. Like, you see that video? It's ridiculous. I'm repulsed by them. I don't even know how to dance with a woman.
I don't even know what's under
have
those
intercourse
clothes.
with her.
Yeah. I assume it's a bunch of extra elbows in there. It's like
we tried it several different ways. Eventually, we had to film me and the women dancing separately and composite the shots just to make it even sort of look normal. I won't tell you who was there, but it wasn't them. I wasn't dancing with no chick. That would be amazing. It would
Allegedly.
Listen, none of that happened. None of that will happen. But it would make so much more sense than what they're pretending is going on.
Yeah. And this also made me think, like, listen, I don't get Jaden, right? But I can see how being raised by Willard not necessarily could lead to a Jaden. I don't see how anything really could lead to
weirdness.
That. Yeah, I don't think any of his kids ever had a chance to not be weird. Now, that specific brand of weird is unique. But, like, you're raised by Will Smith. Yeah, you're a lunatic. That's what that is.
Yeah, maybe he was bitten by a radioactive spider and was raised by Will Smith. I don't know. Something's in that brew.
Yeah.
It's like The Fly. Something got mixed in that transporter. Tim, how did this do?
No idea. The verdict is not in yet. I feel pretty confident in saying that it is both received and will sell poorly. The only possible chance is that it catches on ironically. Perhaps this becomes some sort of gay pride anthem. I don't really know.
Oh, yeah.
Like how Celine Dion is like a hero in the gay community.
Right. No, I'm with you. I hear you. Yeah. I don't think that's going to happen in this case.
Eventually.
I like pretty girls.
I like pretty boys. Yeah, I think it could be remixed pretty easily.
God, you put in a little Franz Ferdinand.
That's right. Yeah, throw Michael in with this. Mix the shit out of that. Listeners, do any of you...
Did we just make the song of the summer?
We might have.
Jesus. Someone else, I'm sure, will make millions off it.
Mm-hmm.
Several shows seem to. They steal our bits, people. They steal our bits. Anyway, okay, that's how it did. What do people think of it? And before you answer, I would like to begin this week.
All right.
With an anecdotal review.
Okay.
I was on the Instagram looking at the reels, as the kids put it, and the music video for this is still fairly new. It hasn't quite fully permeated the internet's nooks and crannies. By the time this comes out, probably will have.
It'll be old by the time this comes out.
Fair.
Sorry, next week.
Yeah. Anyway, in an effort to hype up this song, Will did a live performance. I didn't see what city. I'd guess Philadelphia, but it could have been Atlanta, Detroit, Chicago, New York. I don't know. City, buildings, concrete. Anywho's will be that did go viral for all the wrong reasons. It looks like a scene out of Black Mirror where a crazy person singing to several people just holding up their phone, recording one of the most embarrassing things you've ever seen. He's just standing in the middle of the street going, I like pretty girls. And like 200 people around him are just like, what is this? And like you can see a couple people giving him like sympathy head nods, and then they kind of look around and they're like, man, I can't. And they stop. It's bad. I highly recommend looking it up.
All right.
Alrighty. That's what I think of it. What did people on the internet think of it, Tim?
Well, for maybe the first time ever, there were 0 Amazon reviews, so I went to YouTube. David Connor 04Q 4 days ago said, this makes Getting Jiggy With It look like Beethoven.
Agree. That never happens.
Chad Esteban, 1408. Will wants to be a pretty girl. Ain't fooling nobody.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true.
No, he is comfortable being a man. He's just not comfortable, allegedly, being with a woman. Movie Guy 5, 2 weeks ago. Will Smith making music in 2025 is a recession indicator. It's accurate. Lucky's 7 Evan 603, 10 days ago. If you close your eyes and listen to another song, it's actually good.
Wait, what?
If you close your eyes and listen to a different song, it's actually good.
Oh, okay. I did hear that correctly. Okay.
Matt Clark 8746, he may quote unquote like pretty girls, but he loves pretty boys. And it's even spelled right.
Poor Will Smith.
Yeah.
Like, it's none of anybody's business.
No. In fact, I hope you're happy. I don't listen.
It doesn't seem like you are.
No, not based on this. Calmus Prod 11 days ago, he could have changed the lyrics to I like handsome guys and it would still have sounded somewhat straighter than this.
I like handsome guys.
Yeah.
Checking out those thighs. Okay.
Yeah.
It works.
Isaiah Stewart Jazz 4 days ago, obviously some type of Illuminati humiliation ritual.
Interesting.
Quite possible. Amadeus Smith 693, now his son will have to wear an aircraft carrier on his head. Adam Gilbert 8383, when Wild Wild West is no longer the worst artistic decision of your career.
These are uncharacteristically amusing.
Yeah, Scott A. Land 5282, the last one. When you thought Will couldn't possibly set the bar any lower, Will says, hold my pina colada.
Oh, Willard.
Yeah.
This was such a poor decision. Who's this for?
This is for Jaden. This is to make Jaden realize that he is cool and maybe they should hang out together and wear superhero costumes to weddings and, just be two totally normal guys,
Yeah, super chill dudes that don't do weird stuff ever.
Yeah.
Got it. Final thoughts, Tim. We've been all the way through it. Has it grown on you? I feel like it has.
I kind of. It honestly might.
Yeah.
I don't know that I
think
hate
you
this
kind of like
anymore,
it.
Garrett.
I think you kind of like
Listen,
it. It doesn't shit hot snakes. No one's saying that.
No. This is terrible. This is terrible. And I'll just ruin it for you. You don't even have to ask this week. I do think I still hate this song. However, this was a lot of fun to do. And it's one of those things that is so bad, and I know I'm going to hear it so many more times. I'm beginning to enjoy it, even though I still hate it, if that makes sense. I'm leaning into hate. It's Smash Mouth's All-Star, if you will. I hate it, but gonna have to hear
part
it
of you now.
Probably 7,000 more times in my life, so I may as well just kind of accept it. What about you, Garrett? Did you unget there?
No, I think I hate it, but it's brought me a lot of joy.
Yeah. This week was fun.
It's also a pretty catchy song.
Yeah, we should probably get it on vinyl. Really add it to the collection.
You got to stop doing that. It's for nobody. It's for nobody.
It's for TMZ. There it is.
God, it isn't. I like pretty girls. I like handsome guys.
Boys, Garrett. That's how you say it.
Oh, God. All right. Good stuff. That brings us to listener mail. Would you like to go first or should I, Tim?
Well, Garrett, I would definitely like to go first this week.
Of course you would, you selfish asshole.
That's right. This is a fairly old one. This is by Dasherejeune95, aka Finn. He wrote us an email saying a few things, and I will kind of excerpt this. He says, Dear Texas Toast, hi, it's me again, Finn. I have a few things I'd like to talk to you about. Number one, Muppets. After the recent John Denver Prepisode, so you can tell how old this is, I feel compelled to say this. All this anti-Muppet sentiment is confusing and saddening to me. I grew up on Muppets films and TV shows and have always loved them, with my favorite of their movies being The Great Muppet Caper, which, Garrett, I insist you forced him to watch. It can convert non-believers. Number two, PowerPoint. In November, a friend had the idea to have a PowerPoint party, where people make lighthearted presentations and present them to friends. Obviously, I signed up and crafted a slideshow about the one subject that I was certainly the only verifiable expert on in a 500-mile radius, this show. We were supposed to limit our presentations to 6 minutes, but fortunately for me, I was one of two people who actually made presentations and was also able to make it to the event. After my friend Dylan presented about which figures from ancient Greece and Rome he finds the most sexually desirable, I had free reign to ramble sample on for as long as I could, and my attempts to sell them on the appeal of this show seemed to work, and I've gotten at least one friend who attended into this show so far. Also, immediately after the presentation, Dylan felt compelled to write you an email, having heard none of this podcast, requesting that you do one of those obscure Russian metal bands he likes, and mentioning me by name. You may have already read it by the time you read this. Now, he didn't mention you by name. He didn't mention the PowerPoint thing. I searched for Dylan. He says, I was introduced to the show via PowerPoint. Yes, I assume a few people were. Dylan, I don't know, is that this event or just in general you assume people were introduced via PowerPoint? I don't know.
Probably.
And then he continues, number 3, a more serious note, and he complains about AI art on our website, which again, fuck you, Garrett, fuck you, buddy.
Right. Yeah, fuck me. Whatever.
Yes. Anyway,
fuck
that's
you.
all I have to say for now. Tip it back, Finn.
It's a good one.
Yep, 2/3 of a great email. Garrett does not appreciate the hatred for AI art. I think we both don't like it in general. But yeah.
But it's better than nothing.
Yep, Garrett, what email do you have? I assume it's not that one.
It isn't that one. I have 2 other ones. They're pretty old. First one is from Morgan, titled Info for Tim. Morgan writes, info. Tim, in the No Scrubs episode, Garrett suggests that you may want to date Tipper Gore in 10 years after Al dies for her money. This differs from Diane Warren, who you want to date for love. You agreed to both of those matches.
I don't know that it's for love. I think it's more so that she'll feel good about herself.
Yeah, it's for her love. You won't love her. Right. Tim loves pretty girls. Well, do I have a surprise for you? Al, age 75, and Tipper, age 75, have been separated since 2010 with no plans to reconcile.
Oh, it appears we've discussed this before. Listen, I am a man of honor. I'm not going to date somebody who is still technically married to Al Gore.
That's true.
If they are divorced, fair game. If not, off the table for me.
That's right.
That is very strange. Specific morality regarding Tipper Gore.
Yeah, you got a weird code specifically for Tipper Gore. But just to wrap up the email, Morgan says, she is dating the former editor of National Geographic, who is 83, so Tim, you could probably take him. Timothy, you don't have to wait for Al to die to make your move. It's always good to know your options, Morgan. Yeah, but anyway, I had a feeling we had discussed this, so I pulled a second one. This one's from Jonathan V. Jonathan writes, hi guys. I've recently found the podcast through the episode about Stripers to Hell with the Devil. As a Striper fan.
Interesting. Everything that's about to be said is hilarious to me. Go ahead.
As a Striper fan, it was fun to hear what you guys had to say about the matter. And even though I'm a Christian myself, I very much enjoyed the discussion presented in the episode and in the DC Talk episode as well. It's just fun to hear what people have to say about music when they've probably done their research and listened to it a bunch. Thanks for the show. Not sure if you guys take suggestions. We say it constantly. We definitely do. But I'd be interested to... Oh, there's that. If so, I'd be interested to hear what you two have to say about Demon Hunter, their album Extremist, or Peace, or Wolves at the Gate.
Should we do this next week? We should just...
No, absolutely not.
But maybe, right?
But no. We're going to do something different. Anyways, thanks for the fun listen, Jonathan. I did look up, what did I look up? Demon Hunter? I think they've sold 600,000 albums ever, which is technically less than we have sold. But, and by sold, I mean downloaded.
Yeah.
So.
And by less, you mean more. I got it.
No, it's definitely less. We have more than 600,000 downloads. Been doing this for 8 years.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I
was a young man when we started. Well, youngish. Early 30s.
Youngish. I was middle-aged.
Yeah.
No, I was youngish.
You were younger.
There's
a huge difference.
Fuck you. That brings us to music news of the weird, Tim. You going first or am I?
Of course, I'm going first, Garrett.
God damn it.
Music news of the weird.
In Kanye news this week, Kanye has changed his name yet again. In an attempt to out-terrible my nickname for him, business documents filed in California for Yeezy Apparel, Yeezy Records, and some other companies now refer to him as, you guessed it, Ye Ye.
Really?
In Ye Ye news, Garrett, Ye Ye showed up to Diddy Daddy's trial in support of Diddy Daddy. Not a great look. He was apparently not on the list. He was not allowed in the courtroom and left after briefly watching the trial on a video monitor. When asked by press for clarification if he was there in fact to support Diddy Daddy, he simply said yes, or possibly yay. I don't know.
He's changed his name to Yay.
Yay space yay.
Oh, that's even weirder.
I don't know if it's a first and last name or if
Right.
it's still a monomer that just happens to have a space in it. It's unclear.
What a nuisance for your taxes. God, that guy sucks.
Yeah. Garrett, what initial news do you have for us?
Well, Tim, big news. What everything old is new again. MTV is going back to playing music videos, but there is a catch. It will only be for the lead up to the 2025 MTV Video Music Awards. It's being called a, quote, unprecedented week of 24/7 music videos across MTV2, MTV Live, and MTV Classic. Both classic and current in a revival of the brand's early DNA reimagined for today's audiences, a press release soullessly explained. Past VMA winners and legendary MTV personalities will return to curate and spotlight their 7 favorite music videos of all time, offering fans an intimate glimpse into the music videos that has shaped them. It sounds like a good idea, to be honest, and I don't know why MTV doesn't just have a music video channel. It seems fucking common sense.
Yeah, they could call it MTV.
Yeah, unfortunately, MTV is currently taken up with non-stop episodes of Rob Dyrdek shows and Catfish.
I haven't seen
I'm
the
not kidding.
Catfish. I am pretty familiar with Ridiculousness, though.
Dude, Ridiculousness is on, like, I don't know what's on more in a day. Ridiculousness or Impractical Jokers. Both of those are supporting entire networks.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. It's what you watch in hotels. That's how that works. Turn on the TV, those are the things that are on.
You've never seen the Catfish show?
No, I know it exists. I've seen the movie, but I have not ever seen the Catfish show. No.
It's solid. I haven't
We
seen
should
it.
watch Catfish tonight, too. Okay, we'll watch Gemini Man, 4 Bad Boys movies, Catfish, and then 1998's Godzilla. It's going to be a late night.
That is, you're describing 16 hours. We're not doing that. Cut 3 of those movies. No, I'm sorry. Cut 5 of those movies. Did you say no?
I did, yes.
That's untenable. We will caucus later. That's not what we're doing. There will be votes. Gino, we're going to bring you in on tiebreakers. Where's Gino? I just noticed that our producer's not here. Where is he? One of you go find him.
Oh, he's wandering, Garrett. He does this
Jesus
sometimes.
Christ. Got an Italian gray alert. Tim, what other news do you have?
In Drake Sucks news this week, Drake continues to suck. Drake let his Instagram followers know that he had in fact reached out to Canadian politician Jagmeet Singh for going to a Kendi Lammy concert in Toronto, DMing him saying, "You are a goof," which is such a Drake thing to say. That's ugh.
God, I hate
This
him so
is
much.
why people make fun of you, Drake. For whatever reason, though, Singh apologized to him, saying, "I went for SZA, not Kendrick. I was born in this city. I love this city, but real talk, I get it. I shouldn't have gone at all. I am Team Drake." Here's some advice for your political career, and maybe your just life in general. Do not ever take Drake's side. That is reading the room entirely backward. Drake's side is the losing side almost by definition. Furthermore, you do not need to fear Drake or any consequences from Drake. It's not like a Travis Scott situation where he will allegedly spur his crowd on to crush you in an attempt to ritualistically open up a portal to deep space. He's just a gross weirdo who, according to Kendi, and definitely not us, please don't sue us, Drake, has some creepy tendencies.
That's the rumor on the street.
Yes.
Yeah, also, don't make weird demands of your friends as to what concert they go to.
Well, yeah, I don't think he specifically demanded it. I think he just wanted to let him know that he's a goof.
Ugh, I hate him so much. Drake.
Yes, that's fair. Garrett, what other non-Drake, non-K-Way news do you have? Possibly a Diddy Daddy watch. Diddy watch, as you call it.
We can get to Diddy watch. I was going to end with Diddy watch.
I apologize.
Okay. Well, Tim, in pot calling the kettle black news, Japanese metalcore band Crossfaith has canceled its remaining European tour dates due to allegations of misconduct raised against guitarist Daiki Koide, I'm sure I butchered that, I'm sorry, by none other than show alumnus Falling in Reverse frontman Ronnie Radke.
Are you sure he wasn't? You didn't get
accused.
That backwards.
I know. Listeners may remember Ronnie as the guy who was involved in that murder, but was only charged with battery and then violated his parole, so he served 2.5 years in prison. Or you might remember that time he was accused of domestic assault, but it was pleaded down to something way less bad. Or that time he threw several mic stands into an audience at a Six Flags, injuring a little girl girl, or several other really questionable decisions.
Don't take your little girl to a Falling in Reverse show, just in general.
Sure.
That's
But
also...
if you're at a Six Flags and you're like, oh, what's at the outdoor arena? You might wander up and then get a mic stand to the face.
That's fair. That's fair. So do you think that this person was just like, well, this guy really deserves to be molested or whatever happened?
Jesus. I'm not going to even answer your question.
Well, I'm just saying,
Story
like, do you think
continues.
it was a targeted thing? Or do you think it was a crime of, like, convenience?
Wait, what?
What happened to him, Garrett?
Yeah, I haven't actually, it didn't happen to him. That's why, Jesus.
No.
Nobody molested Ronnie Radke. God. Anyway, this is why you shouldn't jump ahead. Radke released a video on Thursday, as of the reading of this story, stating that he had received information and alleged screen grabs by messages that had been sent by the accused guitarist, in which he allegedly attempted to meet a 14-year-old fan during a series of shows the band was going to have in Europe. Radke went on to state that he contacted other members of Crossfaith as well as upcoming European music festivals, such as the Belgian heavy metal outfit Grasspop, about the allegations to ensure that they were removed from the lineup. And while I can't believe I'm going to say this, I don't disagree that Radke should let it be known that this guy's out there. I do question a little bit his need to, like, let the festivals know, like maybe reach out to the band and be like, hey, you might have a fucking creep in your band. Let them remove the creep. Don't ruin their entire livelihood.
Yeah, but also, do we know if it's true? Because he, and this
idea.
is completely alleged, seems like the sort of person that would just say this and completely
Say
make it
some
up
shit.
out of whole cloth. Now, I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
It's very possible that this guy could be a creep, but it's also very possible that Ronnie Radke,
Just doesn't like him.
the guy who I believe's catchphrase is "suck my fuck," might be a real cunt. So just throwing that out there
tough
too.
to say.
There are no heroes in this story. Probably.
That's true. Believe all Radkes.
Don't do that.
No, most of the time they're lying. And their friend has a gun. Tim, what other news do you have?
In Garrett's teeth news, Leanne Rimes goes to the same dentist as Garrett, apparently. At a show in Skagit Casino Resort in Washington State, she was singing one of my favorites, One Way Ticket, when her teeth began falling out during the performance. She, of course, ran off stage. Teeth, yes. Well, that's what the article said. I did not count them. She, of course, ran off stage and didn't begin to pull the rest of them out in front of everyone like some sort of irradiated maniac. But she did return to finish the show like a champ. She later posted, like I said, there wasn't a fucking thing I could do about it except either walk off or just hold my teeth and sing, so I just ran with it. The show can go on even in the midst of sheer utter embarrassment. You just got to be real with people. She then played a show the following night, I believe that was this past Saturday maybe, in which she asked people in the front row if one of her teeth falls out on them, if they can please return it.
I know that game.
Yeah, you do. That's why I brought you up, you know?
Listen, sometimes when you got to get some dental work, they give you some temporaries, and those temporaries are more temporary than they imply.
Not
your
for
teeth fall out of
anybody
your
else.
head.
It happened to you twice.
Yeah, it did. So much so that the guy goes, I'm not putting these back in your head.
Yeah, you're going to have to just hang out with this horrible little piranha teeth, the Jack White teeth, as it were, for, another couple of days.
No, they made them go get the porcelain veneers that day. It was nice. But, I also had a pretty good bitch. Like, what the fuck? Why do my teeth keep falling out of my goddamn head?
Yeah. And I mean, I will say this, you with those previous teeth, terrifying. I would have done whatever it needed to be done too. Some sort of Jack White situation is happening in here, and that's not
sort
good.
of Pennywise.
Yeah, he would be a good Pennywise. I saw a trailer for that new show, by the way. Looks fun.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah. Anyway, Garrett, I assume you have more news?
Tim, it's time for a little segment we like to call Did He Watch? 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 Tim, and what will almost certainly be the final Did He Watch segment, because I think a verdict is imminent.
Never mind. I thought this was going to be very different Diddy news. Go ahead.
Jesus. No, he didn't Epstein himself. Few things have happened. Let's get down to it. But I got to say, as we move into the Diddy Watch segment, I expected this to be a much more interesting, salacious, and revelatory courtroom trial, and it has not been.
You're sad you didn't get more details. details.
Yeah, not very salacious. Anyway, we'll taste what we can get. After 7 weeks of testimony, including from ex-girlfriends and former employees, the defense and prosecution teams rested their cases last Friday, June, what would that be, like the 30th or 26th, something like that. I don't know. The end of June. Diddy, of course, declined to testify during the trial because he has a good lawyer, and the defense did not call any witnesses because who would defend him? After closely cross-examining each of the prosecution's witnesses, the judge provided an hour of juror instructions and sent them into a tiny room to argue for what I expect to be about a week. In other Sean Diddy Combs news, Mr. Combs' sex crimes trial took a rather unexpected turn just 2 simple days into jury deliberation. 2 hours into the, not 2 days, 2 hours into the process, the judge received a note from the foreman reporting that one of the jurors, quote, was unlikely to follow the judge's instructions. The judge had to go and call in the jurors and remind them all that a guilty verdict should only be reached if the jury determines that Combs and any of his alleged co-conspirators agreed to commit at least 2 of the following crimes: sex trafficking and witness tampering, or witness tampering and bribery, or arson, or forced labor, or transportation to engage in prostitution, possession with intent to distribute.
Hold on. If he's found guilty of forced labor only, or sex trafficking only,
then he's fine.
That's, I feel like somebody's thumb is on the scale here.
I think they might have dropped the ball a bit. So in any event, the judge said, well, and listen, there's no way to know what in the world the foreman meant by that, but given that the judge's response was to remind everybody on the jury what it is they're actually there for, chances are this guy went into the deliberation room and was like, well, this guy's guilty of something.
And he
well,
allegedly is.
Sure, but you need to base it on the facts. And something tells me that guy just wanted to get the fuck home. And I don't blame him.
Yeah, he's been hanging out with Diddy for a long time.
Yeah, watching him nod his head and stare at the jury. God, unexpected. Okie doke, Tim, in my final story this week on Diddy Watch and news for the week in general is a bit of a coda to your Kanye West story. Apparently, Ye, as he's been known for exactly 4 minutes on this show, is a big supporter of Diddy. And not only did he show up to the courthouse as Tim reported and nobody else, good job, Tim, thanks to a recent collaboration project, there is now an EP with Diddy's son, Christian King Combs. King and Ye released a 7-inch single called the Never Stop EP, which is a play on Diddy's signature Can't Stop, Won't Stop slogan. Ye executive produced the entire project and recruits his poor daughter Northwest on the opening track Lonely Roads. King Combs stays defiant on the entire project, flipping the bird to haters and critics of his father amid the trial for sex trafficking and racketeering. On the song like People Like Me, he raps, quote, "My father's a hustler. It's not my fault your dad's poor," unquote. Good stuff. Yeah. So head on out to your local Sam Goody, folks, and pick up the latest single from Ye and King in support of accused sex trafficker and racketeer Diddy Combs.
And based on the charges you read, a possible alleged slaver? Is that
something like that?
Not a great look.
Yeah. Any 2 of those, though. Can't just be one.
So weird. I want that deal. I can commit a single crime.
I think it's any 2 of those gets you racketeering.
Oh.
I think that's what it is.
But they should still be able to convict on any one of those charges, right?
Yeah, I think they can.
Oh, well, then I don't understand the law.
Well, I think it's like a bonus system. So if you get just sex trafficking, then all right, you're going away for a little bit. But if you get sex trafficking and that slavery thing, then you bonus up to racketeering, and you get the racketeering bonus, and that's when you just he goes away for a while.
Right, but also slavery and sex trafficking should be a while. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
You're focusing on all the wrong parts.
He'll be out in a week. It's fine.
Yeah, he's got a good lawyer who'll be pardoned, one of the 2. Cause we live in a nightmare hellscape we call America. All right.
Those are Garrett P. Harvey's words, not mine, to be clear.
Oh, you love it? Mr. America over there?
I'm just saying, I was not born in this country, Garrett, and I am not a citizen.
That's true. You could be rounded up, thrown into a truck, and shipped to El Salvador. I have friends there, but they probably won't help you.
El Vibora.
The Vipers. Tim, go ahead and load up the hopper, get those balls a poppin', and see which one's going to tell us what album we're going to be listening to next week for an entire week straight.
All right. I got a ball. I got it. Gina. No, he's still not here. Brandon. I got a ball. It says Less Than Jake, Hello Rockview. I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
Sounds good.
It doesn't.
Why do you think they're called Less Than Jake? You want to make a guess and then see if you're right?
I sure don't.
All right.
I was like, oh, what would be a clever guess? And then I realized I don't care. That's fucking... God damn it. I'll be angry to find out.
Yeah, you will.
Less Than Jake.
Yeah.
That might be Christian ska.
Maybe.
We'll see. We'll have to find out next week, folks, because that's it for this one. As always, rate, review, subscribe. Specifically, if you're on the Apple Music or Apple Podcast app, can you throw a review in there, folks? I want to see, we stopped getting reviews for 1 year straight, and then they started popping up again. I want to know what's going on. So if you got a minute, throw one in there. 5 stars, of course. Feel free to throw any inspiring notes in there, like Tim's a sucker, Tim's a soul sucker, Batman the dog is the sweetest, most bestest podcast puppy in America.
We don't want them to lie, Garrett.
I'll slap you. I'll slap you until you can't speak.
Will you slap Yogi? Because that's a slap to Yogi's face.
No, of course I won't slap Yogi. I will snuggle his face. And I will give him little nose kisses because he's a sweet boy. I will slap until you can't speak. That's a lot of slaps. Or one really good one. Anyway, we're off topic. If you could do that, that'd be helpful, folks. Otherwise, on your various platforms, rate, review, subscribe, comment, all that stuff that makes the algorithms and Skynet think that we are popular and cool and neat and fresh and hip. And then more people might come and listen as well. And then we could maybe someday make $1 off this, because currently it just costs us several $100s and has for years. And I'd like that to stop. I guess technically it's several thousand at this point. How fun. It'd be cool if more people listened and we didn't have to pay so much money for other people to enjoy our thing.
You guys could just give us money. We could start accepting money. Would you like to accept
just give
money?
us money. hatePodMail@gmail.com. Cash.
Or
I don't know,
we
you
could
guys
just do
figure
that
it out.
Patreon thing.
Yeah, but they take such a big piece.
Well, we could have...
I know. Smart people. hatePodMail@gmail.com. Solve that problem for us. Anyway, Instagram's HatePod, Twitter's Album HatePod, I'm G Harvey Tweets. We got Discord servers, we got subreddits. We're on the internet. If you want to reach out, you can. HatePod.com, hatePodMail@gmail.com. These are all the ways you can find us and reach out and do all that cool shit. So do it, okay? I'm not going to ask again. For this week, I've been one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey.
I have been the other, Timothy P. Richardson, and Garrett P. Harvey owns the world's largest collection of Plymouth Prowlers.
I do. 4.
Not a single PT Cruiser, though.
Hell no.
There's cowboys running through my dreams. Nothing's quite the way it seems. I joined the Navy, got kicked out in a week. My facial features aren't distinct. Try to find some meaning in these songs. The genius is a genius, got it wrong. No, it's a lobster murder sex thing. It's the bleaching of the rear. A full assault on both your ears. The riffs are too repetitive. The lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides. The cover art's a mess. Listen to it for a week. Now that week has passed. It's the Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Gary.